Why are you the way that you are? Honestly, every time I try to do something fun or exciting, you make it not that way. I hate so much about the things that you choose to be.
Good morning, guys, or good afternoon, whether you guys are joining me from the present or the future. Welcome back to another FutureFight Vanguard video. Happy Monday, guys. This is the Monday of the week that we're going to California, so yay. If you guys are going to see me in California this week, be sure to say hey at Chara Expo. I'm sure that'll be lots of fun. Today we're going to be getting into the set of the Phantasmal Steed Restoration, I believe. So Phantasmal Steed, basically V-BT06. It has Shadow Paladin, Pale Moon, Dark Irregular, and Murakumo. So a couple fun decks to go through, and all of them are very viable competitive decks as well for the most part, on all very strong contenders for Standard, even so much so still right now, even with a couple sets have passed since Phantasmal Steed. But with that being said, let's get right into the video here. If you guys haven't already, be sure to subscribe down below and click the bell button so that you don't have to miss any future content going forward. Be sure to like the video if you like it, and comment down below to let me know what you thought of the video, and if you have any tips or tricks for new players picking up the deck, because that is what this video is for. Also, if you guys are interested in anime or video games, be sure to check out my second channel down below, Let's Plays Animes on YouTube. Check out my sponsor, Team Vision. They have a website that I also have posted down in the description below. It helps you with articles, and they have lots of cool Vanguard content for you guys to take advantage of, such as strategies, mechanics, deck building, stuff like that. And also, if you guys are interested in becoming a member of this channel, be sure to check out the join button next to the subscribe button down below. Has a lot of cool perks for you guys seeing my videos early, coaching, etc. So if you guys are interested in that, definitely take advantage of that. But with that being said, let's get right into the video today. So today's video obviously is going to be about the cover clan, I call it. Basically the deck that is on the cover of Phantasmal Steed Restoration. That is Mordred Phantom, so it's a Shadow Paladin unit. So we're going to be covering Shadow Paladin today. Obviously, Shadow Paladin is a force deck. Now, this deck is interesting in the way that you kind of always want to go force 1, but you do have the option to go force 2 if you want to kill your opponent really early, or you see like some advantage, like some random chance for you to go force 2 and win the game really early. But let's go over the deck and why. You guys will see more as I explain the deck, why you would not want to just jump into force 2, and why you always pretty much want to go force 1. But starting with our grade 3s, we have 4 Illusionary Revenger Mordred Phantom. Now this is our main grade 3 from the new set. So it has 2 Vanguard abilities. The first one is when your Blaster Dark is placed on rearguard circle, you get an imaginary gift force. So this is actually the first, like you guys see right off the bat, why you would not really want to go force 2, just because as the game goes on, you'll be getting so many markers, like it, and since force 2 doesn't stack, it's kind of just like, why am I going force 2 when I could just have like lots and lots of power from force 1. So anytime that you place the Blaster Dart grade 2 on the rearguard circle, you get access to an imaginary gift force, and you also get imaginary gift force when Mordred rides. So you can ride Mordred, play 2 darts, and suddenly you have 3 force markers. So just another reason why you want to go force 1. But if the chance like makes itself present to you, if your opponent's at like 4 damage and you super rush them in the early game or something like that, and then they're at grade 3 when you first ride to grade 3, and you think that you can like pressure them because they have 5 cards in hand or something like that, and you think that you can pressure them going force 2, hey, all power to you, just go force 2, force 2, force 2. So if you open up like that, you can go force 2. It's just really up to you guys and how you choose to proceed. However, I still believe that going force 1 would still be an effective kill scenario in that situation as well. So just kind of up to you. Make the best choice that you can, obviously. The second Vanguard ability is when it attacks, if your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, counterblast 1 and stand all of your Blaster Darks, and they get plus 10,000 power until the end of the turn. So obviously this restands the Blaster Dark rearguard, gets plus 10,000 power. So it hits for pretty big, especially with all those constant force markers on the rearguard circles as well. So obviously it creates 5 attacks a turn if you have 2 Darks, which can be a lot of pressure to your opponent. Next our backup grade 3, which is for Danger Lunge Dragon. This is also a new card that came out of this set. It is very, very good as an alternative to Dark being your rearguard attacker, but it can also be a Vanguard attacker as well. So let's talk about the abilities. The first ability is a Vanguard only ability that says when placed on Vanguard Circle, Soul Blast 1, and you can return a grade 2 card from your drop zone to your hand. Obviously, this helps you set up for more strong Mordred plays if you want to grab Blaster Dart, if you want to grab Masquerade, if you want to grab Fallen Dive Eagle. All of these are grade 2 options. So obviously during turn 2, if you went for the ride to Blaster Dart, you might want to ride Danger Lunge if you don't have Mordred, just to get that Dark back to holding your hand until you do get Mordred. Or you might get a Masquerade just to search for Dark or Mordred, or you might get a Fallen Dive Eagle because there's something really big threatening you to your face, like a Genesis Valkyrian attack or something like that. So definitely want to be aware of that and the options that you have pertaining to that. And then Danger Lunge second ability is Vanguard Rearguard Circle. When it attacks, if you have 3 or more force markers on the board, then you can Soul Blast 1 grade 3, and until the end of the battle, this unit gets plus 10,000 power, a critical, and your opponent cannot guard with Sentinels from hand. So it's basically Waterfall Dragon from Kagero, if you guys know what Waterfall Dragon is, but it is a Waterfall Dragon that can be used on Vanguard or Rearguard Circle, meaning that you can play this card on Rearguard Circle and still be on Mordred and still have a Dark on the board on the other side. So you can swing with Dark, swing with Mordred, stand Blaster Dart, and then attack with Blaster Dart, and then attack with Danger Lunge, or attack however way you see fit, but it's still a lot of attacks, and then this gets really big and hard for your opponent to block, especially with the castle in our deck, but we'll go over that when we get to it. Moving on to our grade 2s, we have 4 Blaster Dark in the deck. Obviously, you have to run Blaster Dark. It synergizes with so much stuff in the deck, and its ability, at least its second ability, is pretty good in my opinion. So let's go over its abilities. Its first ability is Vanguard Rearguard skill. When placed counterblast 1, your opponent chooses one of their rearguards and retires it. Now, I rarely ever use this ability. There's only 2 choice scenarios where I ever use this ability. The first case scenario is if my opponent, if we went first, and our opponent goes and then they call a grade 1 or they call some kind of unit to try to rush us, and they only have 1 rearguard on their board, or they dealt us 2 damage and we have 2 Blaster Darts, then I would use it just to clear their board up, just to make Blaster Dart's Vanguard skill active. If not, then the only other time that I would use it is when my opponent has something on the board that I know that I want to get off of their board, and then I can ensure that Blaster Dark is gonna be able to snipe that. So if it's the only unit on their board and it's an important unit, I would definitely use Dark skill to snipe it off. Otherwise than that, the counterboss in this deck are way too important, and this deck can be kind of counterboss heavy at times, so you definitely want to use your counterboss sparingly. Its secondary ability is Vanguard only skill once per turn. If your opponent has no rear guards, you can discard a card from your hand, and this unit gets +1 drive until the end of the turn. So you can actually make this card get twin drive by discarding a card if your opponent has no rear guards, which is another reason why the first ability is so useful, because you're able to clear out your opponent's board if they don't have too many units on the board. Moving on to our next grade 2, we have 4 Nullity Revenger Masquerade. So Nullity Revenger Masquerade has 2 abilities. They're both Vanguard Rearguard abilities. So the first one is an auto that says when placed, look at the top 7 cards from your deck, reveal up to 1 Illusionary Revenger Mordred Phantom or Blaster Dark from among them, put into your hand, and shuffle your deck. And then if you put a card into your hand, then you get to retire, or you have to retire one of your rearguards. So interesting thing about Masquerade, one, makes it really good because it allows you to search your grade 3 and your most important grade 2 in the deck. And then also, it's Vanguard Rearguard, so if you ride it on Vanguard, you actually, if you don't have any other units present and you ride it on Vanguard, it's actually just a straight +1 if you find the Blaster Dark or the Mordred Phantom, because you just add it to your hand and then you don't have to retire Rearguard because you have no rearguards. However, if you play this card on Rearguard Circle, then you will always have a rearguard that you will have to retire, because you will at least have to retire itself. So just be wary of that, but otherwise than that, it is really good for setup in this deck, and really good for thinning your deck as well, because it's searching for one of 8 pieces that you run in your deck. So yeah, very good. Then when it's on Vanguard or Rearguard Circle and it attacks a Vanguard, it gets +3000 power. So obviously makes good numbers against Force, can hit Force, Protect, and Excel just by itself, which is very good. And then with boosters, it can make like 24 with the grade 1 Masquerade and stuff like that. Moving on to our next grade 2, we have 4 Fallen Dive Eagle. So Fallen Dive Eagle just has a skill that says when it intercepts for the battle that your opponent's rearguard attacked, choose one of your units, and it cannot be hit until the end of the battle. So basically, it works as a PG on the rearguard circle, so it's really, really cool in that way. If your opponent's like setting up something really threatening or really big, you know that you can just play this on the rearguard circle, and they either have to attack into this, retire it, or try to get rid of it in some way, shape, or form before they can attack with their most threatening thing. So for example, if you're playing the mirror match and you're playing against Shadow Paladin and they play a Danger Lunge gets really big and gets a crit, and you know you can't Sentinel it, which means that you have to guard with a lot of raw shield. The best way to Sentinel it would honestly be to just play a Fall and Dive Eagle and be able to intercept with that Fall and Dive Eagle, which makes so much of their attack go to waste just by you PGing this with an intercept. So very, very good card. Moving on to our grade 1s, we have 4 Transient Revenger Masquerade. So this is our grade 1 Masquerade. It has 2 rearguard abilities. The first one says activation skill during the main phase when it's on rearguard, counterblast 1, and put this unit into your soul, and then you can call a Blaster Dart from your drop zone to rearguard, and this unit gets plus 5,000 power. So this grade 1's really, really good and a must-of at 4, just because when your opponent tries to go after your Blaster Dart and they go to drop zone, you do want to be able to get them back later. And then also, if you're going for the kill, your opponent's at 5 damage or something like that, you can just play a grade 1 Masquerade over a Blaster Dart, use the skill to get it back. It'll come back more powerful, and then it will also net you a force if you're on Mordred Phantom. So very, very good. Also, when it boosts, it gets 3,000 power. So like I was saying earlier, makes a good number with Masquerade at 24. It makes 21 with Blaster Dart. It makes 16 with Fall and Dive Eagle, and it makes 24 with Danger Lunge without its ability. So very, very good booster. Forces a lot out of your opponent. Next, for our grade 1s, we run 4 Skull Witch Domain. Now this is a card that you actually want to open up with. You want to open up ideally with a grade 1, a domain, a grade 2, and a grade 3. That is your ideal hand, and then one of whatever else that's not a trigger. So domain, you actually want to play this on the first turn if you can, but its ability is act rest this unit. Search your deck for up to 1 card with 5,000 power. Call it to an open rearguard circle, shuffle your deck, and this ability can only be used 1 time each turn, even with cards with the same name. So this is a true once per turn ability, just because if you have multiple copies in the main, you cannot use this skill multiple times like you can with other once per turn skills. So it's truly a once per turn skill. You can only use Skull Witch Domain once per turn. But really, really important that you set up with it early, because since it is so once per turn, you just want to make sure every single turn you're getting the usage out of it that you need to be getting. So usually our targets for this are getting another domain or a Blackwing Swordbreaker. And Blackwing Swordbreaker we run at 3, and its skill is when placed on rearguard circle, counterblast 1, draw a card, and if this card was placed from your hand, it gets plus 5,000 power. So usually we're placing Blackwing Swordbreaker from the deck, from the main. So usually we don't get the plus 5,000 power, but we do get the draw, and we do get a 5k booster for essentially free. So it was essentially a +2 for free just using the main just to do that. Moving on to our last grade 1, we run 2 Demon World Castle Eden Fort. So Eden Fort has a rearguard ability that says if there are 5 cards in your opponent's damage zone, this unit gets plus 20,000 power. So if you guys don't know, that's huge in this deck, and huge against other decks as well. So this deck is very easy to push your opponent to 5 damage. So once you do push them to 5 damage and you have the fort, you can just play it at any time. It can be a 28k attacker, a 28k booster, which may I mention is insane when you have done a Danger Lunge active or you're getting ready to do Danger Lunge. That's like an instant kill almost for your opponent, because you can reach numbers of 100k plus if you check a trigger or something like that. So it can be really, really good mixed with the force as well. Moving on to our grade 0s, we have 1 Crisis Revenger Fritz. So this is our starter of the deck. Obviously, self-explanatory, draw a card when you ride upon it. Then for our triggers, we run 8 crit, 4 PG draw, and 4 heal, 4 Grim Revenger, 2 Darkside Trumpeter, 2 Death Feather Equal, 4 Dark Shield Maclear, and 4 Abyss Healer. So that has been the deck portion of the video, and we are going to switch right over here to the playing part of the video right now. Alright guys, as you guys can see, we are on the deck portion, or the game portion, sorry, of the video. So you guys can see that we have the list here, and we are going to go ahead and go into World Fight as normal. Oh, we almost forgot. I gotta change my character to Rin for the sauce, because we know what happened last video. If you guys haven't checked out my last video, definitely go watch the Gold Paladin video. We gotta switch up our character here to the boy Rin himself with the clean white suit. Alright, so now we're going into World Fight as normal. Alright, let's do it. So we're on a 2-win streak from our last video, so let's try to keep this going. We're playing against this guy named Eddie General. This guy's on here like all the time. I face him a lot. We always get matched up together at the most random times, but I'm going Rock for my decision. See what the General is going to pick. Alright, General picks Rock as well, so we gotta reselect. I'm going Scissors this time, and he went Paper, so we are going first, which is a huge advantage no matter what deck we're playing against. So our hand is not exactly trash, but it's only okay right now. We definitely do need a grade 3 in our hand, but that will help because we do have the grade 2 Masquerade in our hand, unless we just top deck it. So we just drew Mordred, so we're going to go ahead and ride the grade 1 Masquerade. Draw a card from our starter. We are playing against Aquaforce also, and we just got a Blaster Dark as well. So our hand is pretty set right now. Pretty good hand. So our opponent rides, uses the skill of starter to draw a card, and uses the skill of the grade 1 to look in top 7 for an Algos. Let's see if he gets it. He whiffs the Algos, so that's pretty good for us. Also, being a Force deck against Aquaforce, we're able to take advantage of that higher base power in the early game, which is really important for surviving Aquaforce's nonsense. But our opponent checks. No trigger. And we get no trigger as well. So passing turn over to us, we are going to actually go ahead and ride Blaster Dart. And we are not going to use Blaster Dart skill, obviously because he has no rear guards. The next thing we are going to do is actually use Blaster Dart skill to discard a card. I think I'm going to go ahead and discard this bird. All the cards in our hand are honestly useful, so we don't want to really risk discard any of them, but Blaster Dark's Vanguard skill is too good to not discard, in my opinion. So we're going to go for Masquerade skill here. Check top 7. Alright, so there is a Mordred there, so we're going to go ahead and grab that. And then we are going to play the Blackwing Swordbreaker to the front row rearguard circle just to get a little damage in. Use the skill to kind of us one draw card. We did draw a heal, which is unfortunate, but it is going to be shield for later, so that's cool as well. With that, we're just going to attack for 10 into Vanguard with Twin Drive. Our opponent no guards. Check 1, critical trigger, nice. Crit to Vanguard, power to rearguard. Second check, critical trigger. Okay, so we're at huge advantage right now because we just double crit. See, that's something that never would have happened if you don't ride Blaster Dark on turn 2. Like, look at this, it's amazing. Alright, damage check 1, Tidal Assault, no trigger. Damage check 2, no trigger. And damage check 3, no trigger. So, looks like my opponent's about to take another attack unless they can guard for real big. He needs to give me at least 25k shield to guard. Alright, so we're able to deal a damage to our opponent with Swordbreaker, and it's no trigger again. So we just dealt 4 damage to our opponent from something that simple. So just to kind of show you guys the potential of stuff. Now that was a huge amount of sack. However, you know, just using Blaster Dart or not using Blaster Dart skill wouldn't have made that possible. I know a lot of people that always say that you should not ride Blaster Dark, you should just hold in your hand for Mordred, but I highly disagree. Alright, our opponent's starting to call a board. Our opponent uses this skill to check top 7 for Algos. He does whiff it again. Pretty unfortunate. And then our opponent calls again. Alright. So our opponent's really trying to go in here. They are going to draw 2 at the end of the turn because of the Coral Assaults. So not too much of a high commitment, but still pretty strong commitment there. We are going to guard this rear guard. I think he completely did that in the wrong order because he was supposed to attack with this column. Unless he's... Okay, unless he's going to switch to this and this. Okay, that makes a lot more sense actually. So he's attacking rear guard using the skill to kind of +1 till +1 restand. I'm guessing he's restanding assault. So we are going to guard that just to like kind of show him that we want it, quote unquote, even though we don't. Sometimes that baits people into attacking our rear guards more. So let's just see if he tries to still go after our rear guard, because then we're just going to let it go. Alright. Yep, he's using the skill, this grade 1, plus 5k to Vanguard. So we're actually going to no guard that. Damage tech, Mordred Phantom. Oh wow, our opponent's switches just to attack the Swordbreaker. Okay, that's pretty cool. I didn't realize that assault wasn't once per turn. So we're just gonna let the Swordbreaker go that time, obviously. And then this is going to attack us for 24. We are going to no guard that as well. Damage check, grade 1 Masquerade. Alright, so if we can get Dark or something next turn, or within the next 2 turns, I guess, because we're going first, that would be swell. So he's using double assault skill, shove 2 in, draw. We draw for turn, and we actually get it in the main. That's actually pretty good. So let's go ahead and ride Mordred. Putting Force 1 to Vanguard. And then we are gonna go ahead and call Swordbreaker. Counterboss 1, draw. Alright, we got a Danger Lunge, so we're gonna hold that actually. And we are going to call in the main. Use the main skill. And we are going to get... Alright, looks like we'll be getting the Fallen Dive Eagle. Just gonna play it on a rear guard circle right here. And then we're just gonna go just like that. So 10 to Vanguard. He's probably gonna give us some shield. Unless he has a PG for the Vanguard. But either way, we're getting like good pressure out of him this turn because he is at 4. And he has 5 cards in his hand. And he still has to ride grade 3, so one of those cards has to be a grade 3. Unless he wants a G-Assist, then that would be even worse. Our opponent guards the first one with a front trigger. We attack for 23. Our opponent no guards, so check 1, grade 1 Masquerade. Check 2, Danger Lunge. Alright, so no checks this turn. That was unfortunate because I really did want to attack with the bird, but he does hit a draw trigger on defensive, and we're just gonna pass turn. Stand and draw. Opponent has 6 cards. They are riding Maelstrom. So let's see if my opponent can turn this around. Excel 2, draw a card. Call Algos. Call Maelstrom. Skill of Maelstrom Vanguard, plus 3k to the front row. Alright, he's attacking rearguard using Algo's skill to counter +1 to restand. We're going to let that go because we do have to guard attacks later in this turn. So it worked out as bait. Pretty good. He's attacking our rearguard for 15, assuming that he's going to restand. That's why he's not boosting. So he checks 1. Check 2, heal trigger. He does heal, unfortunately for us. And give power somewhere. Alright. Our opponent attacks for 29. Uses the skill of the grade 1 to make it 34. So we're actually going to guard with 2 cards because we don't want him to get the restand that his Vanguard will get if we let the 3rd or 4th attack hit. So he's switching 2 cards. And then he's attacking us for 13, okay. Oh, wow, that was actually really good, because since we... Oh. Okay, so we're just going to block this and then take the 2 remaining attacks. Hopefully we top deck a dark or a way to get into a dark next turn, because that can make our next turn the finishing play, but if not, it could be kind of bad. Critical trigger, that's good. Prevents us from, like, that last attack taking form. Alright, let's see if we can get it, guys. Stand and draw. We drew in the main. So we're gonna go ahead and ride. Imaginary gift. We are gonna use this skill to rest and get the bird, and then we're gonna keep the rest in our hand because there's not much that we can do there. So what we're gonna do here is hopefully, I think my opponent will definitely survive this turn. I have like no doubts in my mind. So the plan after that is A, hope that they don't ride Glory Maelstrom, and B, hope that we can just survive their turn, because next turn double danger lunge would be really, really strong. So our opponent guards for 52. We check 1. Oh my god, grade 2 Masquerade, where were you when we needed you? And we check 2 cards, no trigger. Obviously doesn't help our cause. And then we attack for 15 with our little bird. Alright, our opponent no guards. Oh my gosh, they damage checked the draw trigger again on 5th damage. Well, the triggers are swinging things quite heavily right now. I mean, we're still in this if he can not ride Glory. But, yep, he final turn, so he probably has Glory. Yup. Alright guys, so our only chance out of this, I think, really is just to check a draw trigger or something like that, or a heal on 6 damage. Because we're about to get attacked a lot. And since Glory Maelstrom is a stupid card, it will give plus 10k to front row, and I can only block each attack with just 1. So first, he's attacking me with 24, which I can't even guard, and the PG Bird doesn't help because I can't intercept. Like, Glory Maelstrom does entirely too much. But no guard. We do check a critical trigger. Oh! Okay, ooh, we almost messed that up. I gave the crit to the main, but the power to Vanguard. Oh god. I really almost messed that up, guys. That was crazy. Okay, so the crazy part is Yeah, the crazy part about this is that we still can't block. So we're gonna have to 6 damage heal. Oh, and he just got a front trigger, so we're definitely not living. Yeah. And there's another draw trigger. Man. Godlike luck. So, that's another thing that sucks about this deck is if you don't get your pieces, it's just really bad. Now, I don't at all think that that's because I rode my... And there's a Blaster Dark, so... I don't at all think that it's because I rode the Blaster Dark in turn 2. Obviously, that was really powerful. We just needed any other piece that we could get. And it wasn't really helping us that we never ever found a Dark the entire game. Because if we had, then those Danger Lunges would have been live earlier. Alright guys, so we found our second match here. We are going first. Our hand is kind of crappy. Kind of crappy, not gonna lie. I mean, we did get on the main this time to start off with, and we are playing against Kagura, so that does matter. We are just going to ride the castle here, because we don't want to get beat up on 5k in case our opponent has a wild mindset and just decides to go ham. So we are going to rest this domain and get in the main. Actually, yeah, let's get in the main. Let's get in the main. We definitely want to establish our back line first before anything else. And then we're just going to pass turn. Alright, our opponent rides to Airmo, uses their starter skill to draw a card. And attacks us for 8, which we are going to no guard. Alright, so they joke check at Airmo. Damage check. No, our castle. Okay, well, guys, we're not using castle this game because we rode one and one went to damage, so that's wild. Alright, so we don't have a grade 3, so we're gonna try to dig here. Riding Blaster Dark. Not using Blaster Dark's skill because he doesn't have rear guards. And then we are going to use Blaster Dark's second ability to... Let's see here. Yeah, we're gonna ditch this domain. And then we're going to use this domain to rest and go get on the main. And then we are going to call Swordbreaker here. Uses a skill to kind boss 1, draw a card, and he gets plus 5,000. And then we're going to call Dive Eagle here. Going into our battle phase, we're going to attack with 10 first. Our opponent did take a critical trigger, so that does suck for us. However, we do have Twin Drive with Blaster Dark, so 2 chances to get a trigger to pass that. Alright, so you no guards, leaves it up to the triggers, check 1, and check 2. We didn't get a trigger, but fortunately we did get a grade 3, so that does matter a lot. And then our last attack can't hit, unfortunately, so we're just gonna have to end it there. So our opponent is going to ride. Alright, so ride to Berserk Dragon. Probably gonna counter boss 1, soul boss 1, get rid of my Dive Eagle. Seems like the most worthwhile play. Yep, goodbye, Feather Eagle. Alright, just goes into straight battle phase. That's very interesting. I'm surprised that out of that 8-card hand, my opponent doesn't have anything else they want to play, like a Airmo or anything like that. We are gonna no guard it though. Alright, no trigger. Ooh, it looks like we might be playing against Blade Master. I thought I was playing against Overlord at first, but it really looks like Blade Master with that Gar on check. But sometimes they do run that in Overlord as well, so there's no real way to tell until it actually hits, like their grade 3 actually hits the board. So we ride Mordred, get Force, and then to not expend any cards from our hand this turn, we are going to rest and get Feather Eagle. Alright, and we're going to attack for 10. Our opponent does guard this. This looks like another Blade Master card that they run, so maybe this is Blade Master, guys. No guard. Heal trigger. We do heal. And give the power to the Eagle. Second check Masquerade. That's amazing. So now we have a way to try to tutor out Dark. Our opponent hits a draw trigger. Man, what is with our opponents today? These damage draws. They're OP. Anyways, we're gonna hit our opponent for 20. Alright, our opponent guards with the Berserk Dragon, putting them back down to 8 cards. So we have a full board and 7 cards in hand. So I think we're at advantage right now. But our opponent's definitely playing Blade Master, so full board means nothing to Blade Master, pretty much. Oh, and my opponent went Force 2, which is interesting as well. Alright, so they call the grade 1. They use Kimnara skill. I get to keep 2, retire 3, I think. Or either keep 3 or retire 2. Yeah, there we go. That's actually a good thing because we want to play some of these cards from our hand. And our opponent's attacking us for just 13. And we guard for 2 to pass. Just so that we don't have to take any early nonsense damage, because that was the easy block. So our opponent checks no triggers. And we stand and draw. We are not going to ride, because we don't have anything to ride. And then we're going to move this back. And first off, we are going to play Masquerade. Use a skill. Top 7. Alright, so no Dark still, but we did get a Mordred, which is helpful in its own way. And then we're going to retire this Swordbreaker. And then we are going to call the Bird. And call Blackwing Swordbreaker. Skill. Counterbalance 1 draw. We drew a heal. Not terrible, but not good either. Alright, so we attack for 15. Our opponent guards with a 5k. Alright, down to 8 cards. Attack our opponent for 28. No guard. Check 1, critical trigger. Crit to Vanguard. Power to rear guard. Check 2, another Mordred Phantom. Oh god. Where are Darks these games, guys? They're like running away from us. It's crazy. I usually never have this much of a problem getting Dark. So our opponent checks a heal on damage, which is pretty godlike. Seems like anything that we try to do offensively, like my opponent just says no because of damage triggers. Yep. Double like damage checks like crit as well. I believe we can't hit him because of that, which is crazy because I just did him 1 damage essentially with no way to hit him. Triggers. Alright, so our opponent draws again. Yep, they're re-adding the Blade Master, so we're definitely going to catch that board wipe this turn, which is honestly terrible in this situation. I just wish that we had a Blaster Dart at least. So our opponent did have the grade 2, obviously he was just holding it back. Calls Airmo. Calls Airmo. And then I imagine uses Blade Master skill. There's 5 cards in hand right now. Man, he could be at such higher damage if trigger checks did happen, I guess. Yep, so he retires our whole board. He gets a vision token. And then he's probably got to choose to retire both Airmos and draw 2, countercharge 2. Yep, skill of Airmo 1. And skill of Airmo 2, yep. So our opponent now has 5 cards again in hand. Calls Sable. Attacks us for 18 with 3 crit. We're just gonna no guard. Hopefully we get some damage checks. Our opponent checked to heal. Alright. Cool for our opponent. Seems like we're just getting super unlucky. We don't even have our pieces, like. And then a draw trigger as well. Oh my gosh, guys, this is ridiculous. Actually crazy. Alright, so we got a draw trigger on the 3rd damage, which is not terrible, but not very good either. Our opponent attacks for 22. We can only guard with 0s because of the nature of those cards and their abilities. And then our opponent attacks for force 2. We're going to PG that and drop critical trigger. Because we definitely need to try to replenish here. Check 1. Check 2. And my opponent ends turn with even more cards in hand than started. Oh gosh. Alright, so let's see what we can do here. If we don't top deck a Dark or a Masquerade or something. Okay, we got a Masquerade. Things could be a little better for us. So we ride. We're gonna pass the force to the rear guard circle. We are going to just play this Sword Breaker. Counter blast 1. Draw a card. Alright, so we do get Danger Lunge. So if we can get Dark off of this, this would be really good. So check top 7. Oh my gosh, still no Dark. Wow. I'm actually astounded, guys. We literally have 18 cards in our deck. And we check top 7. That's like almost half. Well, let's just retire this then. And then we're going to keep these other 3 in our hand. Because we definitely don't want to get Blade Mastered over and over and over again. And just be losing our entire board for that. So we attack for 13. Our opponent guards for 48, which is a no pass. Drive check 1, Danger Lunge. Drive check 2, still no Dark. Like, guys, what the hell, actually? think this game just hates us. We haven't even damage checked the Dark, which means that, like, we rode one, so there's definitely 3 still in the 16 card deck. Like, that's ridiculous. We attack for 23, and our opponent blocks it, because of course they have plenty of cards in their hand. Stand and draw for our opponent. Does our opponent have a new Blade Master to ride? Of course they do. Of course. It would only be fair, right? Skill, call that grade 1. Skill, Soul Blaster grade 3. Also, guys, I think I should mention this is my least favorite deck out of all of the clans in this set. Probably for this reason exactly. It's like Blaster Dark is just one piece, and unlike the Gancelot deck that we went over, like there's no card that just counterboss 1 and searches Blaster Dark. So you could go the entire game like me and just be super unlucky and never reach Blaster Dark, and then you just die because of it, and it's just stupid in that way. I think that's really dumb. So it looks like we might die this turn, because honestly our hand is trash. But we can guard for a 2 to pass and pray. Well, actually we really need to guard for a 1. Yeah, let's just guard for a 1 to pass. He's probably gonna get it because he's shown to be lucky so far. Yep. There's a heal trigger. Power to Vanguard. We definitely die. Oh, double heal trigger. Wow. And checks double triggers. Which is funny because we thinned our deck more than him, and we don't even check triggers. Absolutely insane, guys. Absolutely insane. Damage check. There's a critical trigger. Where were you earlier? I just thought the last check was going to be Dark and I was going to lose my mind. But that even shows that Dark wasn't even in the next 2 cards. Like, oh my gosh. Well, guys, we're going to start searching for match 3 here. I hope that match 3 is a game that actually showcases the deck versus just showcases. I mean, it's important to showcase how the deck goes if you're unlucky as well, because that could be an important factor in deciding to play this deck or not deciding to play this deck. But it's unfortunate, truly. Alright, guys, so we got our last match here. Peyoyo, I think is the correct way to pronounce that name. Peyoyo. Alright, so we're starting with Rock. Our opponent got Scissors, so we're going first. Alright, so as usual, we get a Dark in our starting hand. If the trend has been anything like this the past 2 times. So I'm actually going to put 3 back in hopes for a grade 3. Alright, so we do have a grade 3 and another Dark as well. So, but this time we're playing as Narukami. Oh god. Unlucky. Okay, so we're just going to call. And we drew a heal. Unfortunate, but pass turn. Our opponent rides Demolition Dragon, the perfect ride for Narukami, and there's no real way for us, or not that there's not a way, but there's no reason for us to block this. It would be perfect for us to block if we had a crit in hand, but we don't want to waste something as big as a heal or a PG to block it. We do hit a draw trigger on defense. That's cool. I'm sorry if I sound ultra sad, guys. Those last 2 games got me feeling like so demoralized. I promise you, like it was those last 2 games were actually ridiculous. But we're going to ride Blaster Dark here. And we're not going to use skill because they don't have rear guards. However, we are going to use skill of Blaster Dark itself and drop this crit trigger. And then we are going to call Masquerade over here. Use the skill. Alright, let's get this Mordred. And retire the Masquerade. And then let's go for Masquerade one more time. And we'll get the Mordred again, I guess. The Mordred Phantoms have been coming to our hand like flawlessly. But as far as Blaster Dart, that boy escapes us like heavily. So we attack for 10. Our opponent chooses to guard for a 2 to pass. We check a critical trigger. So now I'm really hoping that we get a second trigger because I don't want this 2 damage to go to waste. I really want to lay it on my opponent. Alright, so we didn't get 2 triggers, so rest in peace, no crit. So our opponent draws for turn, rides Cho-Oh. Calls Demolition Dragon behind Cho-Oh for a 20k column. We no guard. Alright, they dry check a Death Scythe. Now what we want to do in this matchup is, since when we lose our Blaster Darts we lose it forever, we want to be very careful to not play our Blaster Darts unless we're getting some kind of advantage from it. So stand and draw. Let's go ahead and ride Mordred. Now normally I would play the Dart right here, but I do not want to because I do not want it to be bound before I'm able to get full usage out of it, in my opinion. So we're just gonna play the Masquerade. Skill. Top 7 again with the Mordred. So now we've seen all 4 Mordreds, guys. And Dark is... yeah, Dark is less plentiful, shall we say. Attack for 23. My opponent no guards. We get a main. And another main. So obviously triggers and Blaster Dart don't exist. That's what we're getting from this, guys. Damage check. Now let's see if they have Gauntlet Buster or if they have Drill, because things change drastically depending on which one they have. Yep, they have Drill, which is a free triple drive. That's gonna be annoying. Excel to draw a card. I really think that we're too behind this game to even win, if that's my honest opinion, but I guess we'll see what we can do. It's hard to just think about like winning when if we play a Blaster Dart, it will literally just get bound and we'll never see it again. AKA our grade 1 Masquerades don't even matter. In the Kagura matchup that mattered, but we just never saw the Dart, obviously. And then our opponent's just going wild, calling a bunch of cards from hand. So they're just really out here trying to kill us for no reason. My opponent attacks for 23, uses the skill Counterboss 1 to bind something, which we have nothing, so he binds nothing. And then since we have 0 rear guards, he discards 0 to restand. So check 1, grade 2, check 2, a grade 2. Alright, so that's good for us. If we check a damage trigger here, that could be really, really spectacular. Nope. Alright, we damage check Castle. Use the skill, restand Vanguard. Vanguard attack for 17. No pass. Because we are force. Alright, dry checks another grade 2. I'm gonna no guard this one in hopes of a trigger. Alright, so we were able to get a critical trigger. Honestly, we should have just took Vanguard again, and hoped for a trigger. Because now our opponent can't hit us with any of the attacks. Alright, stand and draw something swole. Alright, we drew a dart. That's actually kind of cool. So what we're going to do is we're going to ride Mordred. And we're going to try to put out some pressure this turn. Even if we have to lose our Blaster Darts to do it. So Imaginary Gift Force. Call Blaster Dart. Skill Mordred. And that's just another example of why I said Blaster Dark's first skill is not that great. Just because we would want to snipe things in this situation, but since we will counterblast knowing that they choose, he'll just choose Phoenix, and then when he binds our thing, the Phoenix will come back next turn. So it's kind of useless to use Dark Skill. And then we are going to call this in the main. Now, if he doesn't have a Gauntlet Buster, this could be really good for us because we're calling a full board essentially. So it'd be really hard for him to use Drill. Alright, and we drew a Danger Lunge, so we can just save that for next turn. That's amazing. Alright, so let's go ahead and attack. We're going to go 25 to Vanguard. No guard. And we know that he has 3 grade 2s in hand, so he definitely doesn't have like shield that's all that. Then we're going to attack for 35. No guard. Okay, thank God, no damage trigger. Alright, attack with Mordred skill, counterblast 1, restand both, plus 10. No guard. Check 1. Check 2, critical trigger, that's what I'm talking about. And then we give the power to the least powerful Blaster Dart just so that I can hit in case he hits a damage trigger. Damage check front trigger, and he has to damage check 1 more to get out of our attacks. Hopefully not though. Okay, ooh. Alright, so he has to give us at least 10k for these Blaster Darts, which is not bad. We definitely did put out the pressure that we set out to put out. And we put him at 5, so if we happen to like top deck the castle or draw the castle, that could just be game next turn. And our opponent guards with a bold capture. That's actually interesting that he didn't intercept, knowing that he has grade 2s that combine, and then he wants to play bold capture probably as well. Do you have Gauntlet Buster, sir? Alright, so our opponent didn't ride at all. That's great. That's actually spectacular news, because he probably won't be able to do the restand. Alright, so he calls Cho-Oh over Death Scythe. Interesting. Counterblast 1, bind 1, make 1 move up. Call Recklessness. Use Recklessness still. I feel like he's literally playing Reckless right now, that's the funny part. So as you guys can see, we kind of brought it back without checking that many triggers, so this is actually kind of tight. So we are going to no guard this rear guard attack in hopes of a damage trigger. No damage trigger, alright, so we gotta guard everything raw from here. So Drill uses his skill, counterboss 1, and then he's going to have to discard 2 if he wants to do the restand skill. He is going to choose to discard 2, so let's go ahead and PG. And drop one of our Mordred Phantoms. We don't really need it. Going to the next turn. Drive check 1, nothing. Drive check 2, nothing. Cool. And then I think he uses that last counterblast to restand his Cho-Oh. Perfect. So we can definitely kill him next turn. I see the end game now. I've seen the Doctor Strange 10 billion possibilities, and the one where we come out on top. Alright, so we definitely win the game now, I think. Unless I miscalculated something along the way, and this is not enough shield. But I think that it is. So guard with his 10k. And that is literally going to leave us exactly with a Mordred and a Danger Lunge, which is all that we need to close out the game. Guard for 28. And Recklessness gets 3k for 20, and we block for 33. Alright guys, so even if our opponent 6 damage heals, they can't get out of this turn, which is really tight. We are going to ride Mordred Phantom. Putting the force over here. And then we are going to use the main skill to rest it. And we can get a Fallen Dive Eagle. And we can play this Danger Lunge. I should have selected Final Turn, but I forgot. So Vanguard attacks for 20. Our opponent guards with the 10k. We attack for 23 to Vanguard. No guard. Check 1. Oh no, please don't 6 damage heal, please! If our opponent does 6 damage heals here, the game actually doesn't want us to win at all. Okay, ooh. Alright, our opponent did not 6 damage heal. We actually managed to pull out a win, guys. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys did, be sure to leave a like on the video. Comment down below letting me know what you guys thought of the video and how I got trashed, how I never got a Blast for Dark, and how salty I am. But leave a hashtag salty in the comments if you watched to the end to let me know that you watched to the end. Check out Let's Plays Anime's Vision and check out becoming a member of the channel as well. But with that being said, this has been Josh from Cardfight Empire, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Peace, guys.